I must say that this is the first time for me in front of an audience like you, an audience where the women outnumbers the men. I'm not sure whether I'm going to feel embarrassed about that, but now I feel encouraged and happy and hopeful. So thank you for arranging this. I'm going to reflect on whether there is a growing momentum of gender diversity. I've been working in this industry for 19 years, but I've been living in this industry for my whole life. From I was a little child, not so clear photos, but seafood has been my life from the very beginning. My parents both worked in the seafood industry when I was a child. So there is no surprise that I'm working in the seafood industry. But I didn't think I would when I started my education. Of course, I was going to Bergen. I'm not going to go to the seafood industry. But here I am. I'm very glad for that. Okay. I've been working both in the traditional whitefish industry and the aquaculture industry. And now I'm working with the Seafood Council. It's a marketing organization working all over the world to promote Norwegian seafood. So, in my 19 years, I'm sort of grown used to being the only woman in the meeting, being the only woman in the work dinner. But now that I'm working with market, I'm not the only woman anymore, because I see that more women works with the sales and marketing than in the production. I'm going to reflect more about that going forward. So, being alone in the meeting in the seafood industry, is there any changes? Is there something that we can see that there is changing? Well, let me tell you this. There is still no queue in the ladies' room in conferences like this. Even though I heard somebody said that it's better this year than last year about female speakers, but still, you know, you don't have to wait in line in the toilets, the ladies' room. So you men here today, you know where it's probably a big, big queue in the men's room. But it's getting better, I think. But I think we need to address the problem about no queues in the ladies' room in conference like this. Because I think we have to address that the program, those who are making the programs have a responsibility to get more female speakers. And today, we have heard so many good speakers, and I see a room full of very many good speakers, female speakers. So I think there's a responsibility to tell the program committee to diversify more, even if it's better than last year. So it's okay to be impatient. This is a picture of my very, very good colleagues in the Norwegian Seafood Alliance. It's an alliance between all the seafood organizations in Norway, not an alliance between the companies, but an alliance between the seafood organization in Norway. This picture is not old, it's quite new. The top executives are men, and then it's me. On this picture, there's another woman. She comes from the research board. But still, this is sort of the normal setting that I'm in. But I know that all of these men think that it is important to get more women in the seafood industry and in management. So why is it still like this, even though I think most men also want more women into this, into top management positions. I'm not sure if I have the answer to this, and I'm not sure that this is, or I'm quite sure that this is not unique for Norway only. There's another country I've been working a lot with earlier on, which is, for somebody, might seem very different from Norway, Japan. When I've been going to meeting in Japan, I would know that I would not meet women if there is the top management that I meet. If there's more people or women working when sales and marketing, but top management, the top management, the president is always the oldest male, always. It's very easy to remember. A few years ago, a Japanese partner of my company then brought a customer to Norway to meet me. I'm sure that they had mentioned that I was a woman that he was going to meet. But when he met me, he was shocked. He had not, meeting me, a young woman, blonde, the management of men that were older than me. So he started laughing, and for a Japanese guy, that was very embarrassing, for he couldn't control himself. But he thought that was hilarious. But we spoke afterwards, of course. He came out of that shock, and he said, for me, seeing you, of course I knew that you were going to be a woman, but for me it was science fiction. Because I come from an old traditional company, and I'm not used to that. And we were talking about culture and how culture needs to change, and that changing culture takes time. Of course, that's the truth in Japan, but I think also that is the truth here in Norway. It takes time, and culture takes time to change. And more women into the seafood industry and more women into management positions is about culture, not only in countries like Japan, also in countries like Norway. But is it more difficult to be an executive in top management in the seafood industry than in other industries? Well, I don't think so. But the culture and the language can be a bit more rough sometimes, but it is about the same things. And we heard stories, and you all telling, it's possible to have both children and husbands, even though you choose a career as a top manager. Me, myself, I have been a single mom since my son was 3 years old, and I've been in top executive positions since he was 9 years old. And we made it work. Of course, it helps with a good support system around you, like I had with my parents. But we make it work, even though I have to travel a lot. And he has reflected now that he's almost 17. He said, I think, Mom, even though you have been traveling a lot, I think you have been more there for me than many of the other moms. And I think he's right. So, it's okay to travel, and it's okay to be a manager, even though if you're a woman, and even if you're a single mom as well. And if you have a daughter in the right age, this boy is the best boyfriend subject. I guarantee it. He's my biggest fan and my biggest support. But he will, this generation will make a difference. But do we have time to wait on this generation to make the change? I don't think so. We need to do the change for them. And I want to give more responsibility to the people who do the recruitment, especially when you recruit for management. And today it's like we use professional recruiters and headhunter companies when we recruit management, and it's easy to find women as well as men. And if you think it's hard, well, look better, look more. So I think it's right to put some responsibility on those who recruit, because we need diversity in top management. We need diversity in the industry, not only with women, because one more point that I would like to make is the seafood industry, which I love, is sort of a closed industry. We need to open it up more, both for women, but also for recruiting people from outside the industry. Because I've heard myself as well that I'm being criticized for recruiting people from outside of the industry that have no experience with the seafood industry, but that they have another experience. And I think we need to open up, because if we start to recruit the same people all the time, we don't find more good women to put into good positions in this industry. So I don't mean that women or people from other industries should have a better chance or an advantage, but we need to give them a chance. So, well, responsibility to the recruitment. Thank you.